Hi, and welcome back to Pittman's Pumpkin Patch, Pittman's Garden Patch. It's July 31st, 2014, and as you can see, success. I have successfully hand-pollinated the first pumpkin of the 2014 season. It's a Howden pumpkin, and, oh, sorry, trying to move these leaves and things out of the way so you can get a better view. So this is, I hand-pollinated this, I believe, on, I think it was July the 24th, something like that, 25th, and so it's definitely growing. I've had to move a couple leaves and everything because it was a stalk from a leaf that was leaning up, that was right against the pumpkin, and it was scarring the pumpkin because the spikes on the stalk. So I just wanted to show you that and show you the early stages of a pumpkin. It is definitely growing, and it's staying a nice good shade of green. That's always important. So anything else going on? So I've had a few other female flowers abort themselves. These of course are male flowers. Okay, beautiful. No bees in them, and I'm quite surprised about that. And it's not like there isn't an opening for them to come in. But I've still been dealing with squash vine borer moths out here. More female flowers. I'm going to open this up a little bit, but you take a chance when you do that, and letting those moths get in. I mean, but the rest of my pumpkin plants, I mean, these things have taken off big time. These are short vine varieties in here. I've got a mixture of Racer Plus and also, geez, it's early in the morning here. It's about 7:40 in the morning, so my brain's not quite awake. Racer Plus and, oh, Charisma. And as you can see, these two right here are expert pumpkins, right here and right here, and these are actually ended up being a long variety. I didn't mean to buy those. I meant to buy short varieties, all of them. Charisma and Racer Plus are short vine variety pumpkins, and I thought the experts were, but I made a mistake on that. So I've been training this up the trellis. Plant starts down in there, and the main vine is going up, and I've been training it up this trellis, which probably isn't going to be strong enough, this nylon, to support pumpkins, but I got a plan, and I already have some material on the way that I'm going to be experimenting with. And here you can see the right here is the main vine coming up, and I've been training that to go up. But I have some burlap and some manila rope, also sometimes called jute. Let me see if there's any bees in this flower right here. Sorry, I get a little bit. I don't think. See, this is really surprising that there are no bees a-buzzing out here today. I mean, this thing is, all these things are loaded with male flowers and not a one. Well, I know I got it covered, but I'm going to go ahead and open this up here in just a minute and let the bees do their thing and try to get them used to coming. Anyways, so I'm going to take the jute string, the manila rope, and the burlap that I have on order, and I'm going to create some pumpkin hammocks. And I'm basically just going to take maybe a 3-foot by 3-foot piece of burlap, and I'm going to weave the manila rope in and out, you know, and create a hammock, and then I'm going to tie that up to the trellis and have the hammock support the pumpkin that's hanging up on the trellis. And I'm sure I'm probably going to do the same with these expert pumpkins here as well. Okay, so that's basically it. I've been Still dealing with I do have the squash bugs have returned. Unfortunately, I've been dealing with. I haven't had to deal with those for about a month and a half, and now all of a sudden they've been coming back. I've gotten 2 of the adults. I've gotten. I found some squash bug eggs, and I keep trying different things to try to ward them off, but they seem to. They're not taking a stranglehold. Right now I'm successfully dealing with them, but I want to get to the point where I'm not having to spend so much of my time dealing with them. And that's my main purpose each year is to try to find something or do something that keeps these critters out. I call them critters, but they're not rodent critters. These are pests nonetheless. So anywho, these are my peppers. All of my peppers. I haven't done any of that in a while. And I'm getting ready to do a whole lot of harvesting. I have so many peppers on here. It is unbelievable how many peppers I have. This again, my first row right here are my chocolate bell peppers, and I want to show you one that's doing really good. Look at this one right here. Morning sun shining right on it. Let me get out of the way so I can see. Look at that nice shade of brown. It almost kind of looks purplish, I'm sure, in the camera, but it is a good chocolate brown and a big, huge pepper. And I think that's a purple bell right there from another plant that's leaning over, and you can see a red ripe purple bell back there that's been ripened to red. And there's a couple more, and there's a lot of green ones still. But there's a lot of chocolate ones. And one thing I noticed with my peppers this year, is that once they got this massive amount of fruit on them, probably a couple months ago by now, I guess, maybe a month and a half, something like that, they stopped producing flowers, and they were concentrating on ripening what fruit they had on them. Well, now in the past few days, I'm getting flower buds and flowers going along again. So it's telling me that these plants are ready to start producing even more peppers for me. And like, here's a little teeny tiny little purple bell right here, and you can see that it's already starting to change from this light green to the darker green, which will eventually turn to purple. You can see a teeny little purple one right here. Okay, so I have a lot of harvesting I need to get done, and gosh, I have tons of peppers. I'm gonna have to give some away, and I'm gonna have to start slicing them and then freezing them. I wanted to show you, these are those Hungarian tomato peppers that a student of mine from last year, for those of you who don't know, again, I'm a elementary school teacher, and look at that red one right there. Look at that. Isn't she a beauty? They've gone from this, and you can see how they're turning. See, they started out all green, green like this, like they normally do, and it's starting to change to a red. But they, kind of have the shape of a tomato a little bit, and they kind of get these ones apparently are getting some kind of a crimson kind of red. It's a dark red. It's a little hard to see, I guess, on there maybe. But they're small. They're not, not huge peppers or whatever, but they're good sized ones. I mean, they're flat and round. Jeez. Well, of course they're round, but they're more of a flat color. Geez, my mind is so messed up. It is too early. They are flat. Almost like a Jack B. Little pumpkin. Don't they kind of look like a Jack B. Little pumpkin? They're flat and, got all these ridges on them and everything. Like a little Jack B. Little pumpkin. That's kind of cool. So thank you very much to that student of mine from last year whose grandpa gave me these seeds from the Seed Savers Exchange Company online. and these Hungarian tomato peppers. They are a sweet pepper, and I am just, I mean, look at this one right. Oh, I thought something. Yeah, something's been biting on you. You're gonna have to go. Sorry, bud, because you're gonna be rotting off pretty soon. Yeah, so it's kind of was turning a little bit of a golden yellow, and well, let's see, a couple back over here on these peppers over here. These two on the end here are supposed to be are Biancas. At least they were supposed to be, and I believe they are. But they did not change over to white like they were supposed to. They went from green straight to red. So I am not thrilled with that, because they were supposed to go from green to white and then over to red. And I've had them go straight to red. And so I am not too pleased with that. Okay, I wanted all these different colors in here, and I've got them now, right now, but they're not doing what they're supposed to do. And here are my, these are my, what are they? Sweet Sunrise. And they're supposed to be a yellowy orange. Well, this one's slowly getting to a little bit of yellow, but I haven't really seen them do the yellowy orange stage. They seem to be going almost right to a red, kind of a dark burnt orange red. I'm trying to find one to show you guys. Wait a minute, here we go. Well, this one went pretty much right to red, and you can see how this one is starting to turn, and there's a little bit of orange right in there, but not much. So I'm happy with what I'm getting. I'm just not overly thrilled with some of the colors that I was supposed to have seen from these things. But but you know what? I'm happy. I'm more than happy with the production. Look at all these flowers are starting to come back again. So, if you want to play the pollinator, you just stick your finger all in there. Hand pollinating. This is really getting down to hand pollinating. You rub inside there for a little bit. Go to your next flower. Put your finger inside there. Oop, petal just dropped off. That's life. So anyways, a lot of purple bells going on, a lot of other different peppers. These are my blueberry plants. So I don't know what's going on with this. I would love for somebody, I need a blueberry and a blackberry expert to come out here or to talk to me about this stuff, because this blueberry, I think it's a climax, a variety, has been having these blueberry fruits on here for the longest time, and they've never matured. They started out and they just never gotten plump, so they just sit there. And I remember seeing this last year at the nursery before I bought it, and it had tons of plump blueberries on it. And this year, they're all just teeny tiny, and they're not swelling up, and they're not maturing, and they've been this way for quite a long time. Where all my other blueberries that I have here have matured and have, gone to fruit, done all their thing, and now they've been putting on new growth. Speaking of new growth, here's some new growth on this blueberry right here. It's putting on a healthy, good, stem here, going up all the way from down there, going all the way up here. So this should be putting on a little bit more production. Last year I did some pruning over the winter time, and I think that's maybe cut back on the fruit production, at least on a little bit of them, but they should be back. And here is a volunteer I grew last year when I was one of my attempts to do companion planting to keep the moths and things out. This is tansy, and tansy is an herb actually, and You know, it's beautiful, and it has a nice, good fragrance to the leaves and everything, almost like a fern looking. Okay, but they're not a fern. And this is poisonous, though. If you eat too much of this or use it, or your animals get to it, yeah, they could get badly sick and they could die from this stuff. So, you know, definitely a plant you want to make sure, you know, you don't let your animals get to, or your kids or whatever. And again, they use this in culinary cuisine. It started over in England, I think, and then somewhere along the line, people started realizing that this had some toxicity to it. So, you know, I think they still use it, but I think very sparingly. It's a nice plant. You know, companion planting didn't work that well for me, so I'm not necessarily a believer in all of that. I think there's companion planting where you can attract certain bugs and everything, but as far as the repelling part of it, yeah, I'm not a believer with that. Here are more of my pumpkin plants over here, and you can see how massively they're taken off. Let me get down on ground level here, lower, and you can see just maybe 2-3 weeks ago, these were a lot smaller. You know, they hadn't really kicked in, and now these things have just taken over, and it's hard for me to even get in here to do any kind of management of the squash bugs. And this is where I've been finding squash bug eggs. There are 2 or 3 clusters of eggs here and there. I found another one last night of about 10 or so. I haven't found any nymphs, and I haven't found any more adults. But you know, these are short vined. Again, these are Bracer Plus and Charismas in here, and unfortunately, a couple of these are on the outskirts here, starting to put on their little short vine, and it's coming out into the yard instead of staying in the bed. And they've gotten to the point where I can't redirect these. So I'm going to probably have to use my other 2 wooden trellises and put them in here. I didn't really want to do that because it just makes it much harder to get in there and do the work of maintaining the garden. My tomato plants, my 2 tomato plants that I didn't really think was going to do anything, and still to this point hasn't, is putting on a lot of vegetative growth. Flower buds have been coming along. I haven't seen any fruits set. So, and here we are, like I said, the last day of July, so there's not a whole lot of time left for it to do anything. So it needs to really hurry up and start putting on some fruit. Give my last little shot of tomatoes, at least for the summer, until I start growing tomatoes indoors, and that's another project. There's my huge watermelon in there. I'm waiting for it to... Oh, what do we got going on here? This tomato plant there got itself all discombobulated for some reason. Got all bent out of shape. So there's the watermelon going all the way from there, all the way. Oh God, get out of the way. All the way back there. Huge. God, this thing's got to be about 25, 30 pounds. Thing's a massive sucker. Anyhow, more of my watermelons that I've just been waiting for them to finally get going. I threw in some zucchinis and some other squash in here just to see what I get out of it. You know, these were transplanted from my front yard. You know, just some old seeds that I said, you know what, I might as well just throw them in a pot and see what I get, and then transplant out, and whatever I get is what I get. Because, you know, seeds were getting too old, and I need to bring in some fresh seeds. So I was thinking I didn't want to waste them, so I just see what I get. So, like I said, I have some zucchinis, and I seriously doubt that I'm going to get anything, and I'll probably just yank them at some point in time, but I figured why not give them a shot. Blackberries. They produced pretty good fruit for me this year, but I am puzzled by certain things that I see. Like right there, I'm sure that's some kind of fungus. And I've had Japanese beetles just destroying my leaves. I mean, they're everywhere. So that's a new pest for me to have to deal with, is Japanese beetles. And They have just been decimating. Here's some more of my blackberries. I pruned out some of them already. I sprayed a couple of these with peppermint oil, and I've been checking the last couple of days, and I haven't seen any more Japanese beetles on the ones that I've been that I sprayed with the peppermint oil. So that's an experiment I'm dealing with. Here's my red Russian kale and my dinosaur kale. Not very dinosaur, huh? Bugs been eating them. Time to spray you with BT. Oh my gosh, look at that. Ah, jeez Louise. Well, what are you going to do, huh? Alright. From Pittman's Pumpkin Patch, Pittman's Garden Patch. It's a little mini tour of what's going on, and dealing with those squash vine borers and squash bugs and everything. And so I'm going to open up this a little bit, let the bees come in. I'm going to go ahead and harvest my a lot of my peppers today, and I think then later on, a little bit later on, my daughter and I think my daughter Piper and I will go up to the movie theaters, take in a movie, maybe go over to Tropical Smoothie and get a little treat. And you guys have a great day, and thank you for stopping by, and please subscribe and tell your friends and share my videos with others. Thank you. Bye.